Hi, we're the Death Hilarious, and unfortunately, we're the last of the good guys. God, I look like my husband's knocked me around.
And it's true.
And it's true.
And it's true.
And here he is, but he says he's not going to do it again. He's just got a temper, that's all. He's just...
I grew up in care, right? And it's just not been easy.
And I can change him.
Yeah,
I can change him. He's going to
me.
promise me this time it's going to be different. He's going to not make me cook dinner
When I
anymore.
finally get that firearms licence, we're going back to Martin's house. Martin was my first foster father, and he's going to pay. He's going to pay.
Once Martin's gone, then we can be happy. That's why I'm going to help
right.
him bury the body, because then we're going to be happy.
Because every time something goes wrong, your sister-in-law's, birthday, that would be my sister's birthday.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whose sister it is,
Why,
sister,
who ruined that? Who do we say?
When the Queen's sister, Princess Anne, had her birthday, you got really angry.
Yeah, again, that's her daughter, not her sister. But again,
it's what?
Anne's her daughter.
Is she?
Yeah, Princess can't have it.
I don't know, mate. You're a bit of an anarchist, personally.
I'm an anarchist. I don't know my targets. You don't know your targets. You're a bad anarchist.
Yeah, that's true. That's a funny bit of improv. You're an abusive husband.
Hey, that was great. Like, I often think when you handle, and it's less these days, obviously, because most of us use card and our phone or whatever. I remember once handling a bunch of coins, and like some of them were really old. Like I looked at the dates on them, and one was from the late 70s, one was from the 80s, and some of them were from like early 2000s. And you're like, wow, like
what hands of these?
Fred West could have handled these coins, and they just kind of marched onwards.
So the bit from Old Country for Old Men with Javier Bardem playing Anton
Chigurh.
Yeah, where he just goes, "Don't put it in your pocket, because then it just becomes another coin," which of course it is. And he just walks out.
Please to borrow the car. That's a great
Please to borrow the car.
Please to borrow the car.
I
also think about like when you've eaten. I mean, less so for you because you don't eat meat, but
I eat fish.
But that's recent, and also that's fish true. Is very difficult.
They're
to
machines put on Earth
you
to
can't,
entertain us.
Yeah, you can't. You can't hide, like, you wouldn't be able to hide human meat as fish. It would be quite difficult. However, the trust implicit in the meat industry, and when you just go to like a burger van or an Indian takeaway,
remember the Finder's crispy pancakes,
the horse meat
scandal,
yeah, that type of thing. Like, all right, that was horse meat, and everyone was like, oh well, what are you going to do?
Just carried on buying it. Just go, well, you promised not to do it again, and they went, no, we're very stringent checks this time. Any company will eventually find a loophole, find a workaround, and go, battery hens. Well, technically, that's just whatever, 1.7 square footage of space. That's all they need.
So they're free range then. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it is grim, the whole thing. I mean, really, the only answer to being a good moral person, veganism's not enough because most of your clothes will probably be made by people who are borderline enslaved, if not totally enslaved.
That's true. Same with your all the minerals in your phone. I mean, you look at like places like the Congo and stuff like that, like where they mine all those minerals, like all the copper and stuff to go into your phone. It is like slavery, basically. It's like America during slavery, like some of the stuff that was on there.
What's the Bob Dylan song? What's it called?
Mr. Tambourine Man. There's a lot of people who suffered in the making of that song.
No, it's North Country Blues, about the closure of the iron ore industry in Pennsylvania.
Oh right, yeah.
That's an amazing song, and one of the verses is they say is in the East that they're paying too high, and that they say that your ore ain't worth digging, that it's much cheaper now in the South American towns where the miners work almost for nothing.
So the point being is, guys, recycle. Such a bizarre, convoluted point there, guys. We're sorry. Sometimes we go on tangents. We just haven't got a map and we don't know our way back.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to bring up is, obviously we've done a few of these episodes now, and I've been editing them. Is what absolute shit we look like on screen. Do you think that? Like the last episode I watched, I'm wearing a turtleneck. And I look like, when we talk about Roman Polanski, I look like a sweaty 70s film director who's under police investigation. Yes. I look like Orson Welles at the end of his life. You know what I mean? It just doesn't do wonders for the jawline. I'll be honest.
I think my moustache kind of took a lot of the heat off me in the last two.
That's true.
I thought I looked alright in the last one, actually.
No, I think you look. Yeah, you mean you did look like a kind of. Was that the one? Oh no, maybe it was the one before where you looked like the TSA officer from. From American Airlines.
Oh yeah.
Like,
With the, that was
Excuse
okay.
me, sure, a random spot check. Can you come through the back room for me, please?
Yeah. No, the last one I had a black shirt on with these glasses and the moustache. I thought it looked alright with that.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed the wardrobe is slowly becoming just your everyday clothes.
Well, I've only got like 3 or 4 stage outfits. I don't particularly just want to wear 3 or 4 stage outfits on here.
I mean, I haven't got that.
Also, if anyone's tuning in to see what we're wearing,
we're in big trouble.
We're in big fucking trouble.
New dress.
It's nice.
New dress.
It's good. It doesn't smell. It's the main thing.
No, it doesn't smell. Yeah, no, it's it's fresh from Marks and Spencer's finest. Marks and Spencer's Mrs. December. So yeah.
So that's it. Nice.
That's it, guys. That was the last episode of Lost and the Good Guys.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it. Imagine we just killed ourselves live on camera, like that bloke.
It wouldn't be live, would it? Because nobody would.
I suppose not. I wonder how we do it. I think about that all the time as well.
What?
Like the idea of just imagine Instagramming. Like going Instagram live and Instagram, like someone must have done that, right?
I'm sure I showed you a video.
Their own suicide.
Going back to the
yes, showing each
horrible
other
videos again.
Things.
Guy with a shotgun and blew his head off. Or maybe that was too much for you. Maybe I didn't show you that one.
Yeah, I don't think you showed.
And then
that
he's
one.
like.
I've seen the guy on. I mean, it's not live, but the guy who was stalking Bjork for a long time.
Oh yeah, the big guy with the bald guy.
I've seen him when he shoots himself on camera.
Yeah.
He goes, it's very much like a video diary.
Yeah.
And eventually, as you kind of skim along, because obviously I wanted to get to the bit where he killed himself.
The money shot.
Yeah, the money shot, literally. And I skipped all the way to the end, and in the end he paints himself.
Yeah, so I've seen this.
And he's got a massive.
It's all like a red hue, isn't it? The whole thing.
Yeah, and then he just goes like, and then it's obviously when someone shoots themselves, it's quite anticlimactic. Again, it's not stylized as it usually is in the film. He just, but then you hear him keel over and go. This
Wikipedia page, is it called List of Unusual Deaths?
Yep, List of Unusual Deaths.
List of Unusual Deaths is my go-to. If I just, at the end of
when he just wants to,
when it's just me and me,
it's just him and him, and he's not having to please anyone but himself.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's even so it's divided. So it's 19th century, 20th century, 21st century. You've got antiquity, Middle Ages. Animal deaths is also a section.
Yeah, it's quite a sad one. That is it doesn't. It's like sort of. Human beings I find more loathsome than animals.
That is true.
I
find
that more
feels
funny.
a bit more senseless when
Yeah, it's almost like they're not quite aware what's going on.
Yeah, unless you count King Kong or Godzilla.
That is true. Or the shark from Jaws.
Even further. Should we go even further forward in time? Renaissance, early modern period, 19th century.
Early modern. Go early modern.
The French playwright Molière suffered a pulmonary hemorrhage caused by tuberculosis while playing the part of a hypochondriac in his own play Le Malade Imaginaire. He disguised his convulsion as part of his performance and finished out the show, which ends with his character dead in a chair. After the show, he was carried in the chair to his house where he died. So hang on, at what point did he die in this?
Nobody knows.
So he had a convulsion.
Nobody knows when he died, though.
And then he disguised it because he was that much of a professional. Again, I definitely feel like, his family and these people just kind of wanted to perpetuate the idea that these were good people and they died committed to their craft.
I want to come across one where it's like, so-and-so shit himself and fell over and was found, crying and he died and he smelled the shit. Like, something that's obviously not meant to make him sound good.
Yeah. Henry Hall, a 94-year-old British lighthouse keeper, this doesn't sound like it's going to go well, died several days after fighting a fire at Rudyard's Tower, during which molten lead from the roof fell down his throat. Right, let's think of the logistics of that. Was he? Can you imagine he was like, maybe because he's 94 and obviously that's slow.
Where's the fire?
Again, how?
And then perversely, ships could hear him, and they turned away from the rocks.
Yeah. So he actually saved lives. He was actually a bit more of a Christ figure.
But also, that was the prototype for lighthouse fog sirens.
Oh, it was him. Was
Apparently.
yeah. But also, can you imagine like the molten lava just going straight down? You know, if that were,
you know, probably got on his lips and he go fuck.
Probably just melted his lower jaw. So
Exactly.
Like that. It didn't like, you know, imagine the urban myth would have been it slipped down his throat and he had a nice cold cup of water and then he went back to work the next day.
Yeah, did I ever tell you the one that when I was...
hang on, can I
carry on, yeah, go on.
His autopsy revealed that the diaphragmatic upper mouth of the stomach greatly inflamed and ulcerated, and tunacia in the lower part of the stomach was burned, and from the great cavity of it took out a piece of lead which weighed exactly 7 pounds 5 drachms and 18 grains. He was pronounced fit for work and he carried on the next day. No, that's not true. The piece of lead is currently in the collection of the National Museum of Scotland.
Hang on. So they reckon there was lead in his stomach?
Well, yeah, it must have. The idea is, I guess, it must have...
What, just like slid down his
cooled.
throat like a boiled egg?
Well, no, it must have
lead
cooled.
could burn all your mouth and get stuck, like probably just burn through your face into your shoulder and everything. Like you can't swallow it.
Glenn, it's in the National History Museum, so if you want me to get you a ticket and go there to prove you wrong, I will.
I've been to the National Museum of Scotland.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm
next
quite
time you
annoyed
go
that I
there,
didn't see it,
demand
to
to
be
see the
honest.
lead.
Excuse me. Do you know the
You've got the lead ball of Henry Hall, please. The belly lead ball of Henry Hall.
There's work experience.
Oh, the belly lead ball of Henry Hall. Oh, the belly lead ball of Henry Hall. Right, let's go 19th century. Gouverneur Morris. Gouverneur Morris died from an infection after using a whalebone to clear a blockage in his urinary tract. Now,
if there's anything I wouldn't do.
Yes. And also, I want 2 questions. How big was the whalebone? How big was his dick?
I think he's just very, very self-assured. They're like, would you like us to use a
something
piece of wire?
Smaller, that'll be...
No, not for me. I need a whalebone because I got some massive dick.
Vallandigham, an American politician and lawyer who was defending a man accused of murder, accidentally shot himself while demonstrating how the victim might have done so. His client was acquitted.
Yep.
That's perfect. That's amazing. Well, they just said, to be honest, mate, your lawyer was such a fucking moron, we can't trust anything he said during this trial, so you're free to go.
Yeah.
Alan Pinkerton, the founder of Pinkerton Detective Agency, tripped on the pavement and severely bit his tongue, which became infected with gangrene. Oh well. So, case closed there. 20th century. Got to be some juicy ones in here. I mean, think about all the things, you know. You've got
terrible things that happened in the 20th century.
Automatic rifles, you've got the nuclear bomb, you know. Let's hope there's something involved in that.
Rampant narcissism,
yeah. On the 18th of February 1904, while taking his habitual shortcut to the Canadian Mining Review offices through an adjacent store, again, I've sensed trouble a brewing, Canadian journalist Benjamin Taylor A. Bell walked through the wrong door, in the store and fell 10 feet down an elevator shaft. He died of his injuries on the 1st of March. I mean, to be fair, if you're going to have, like, you're going to go, right, so, just as you know, this is the door to your office there, and this is the door down the disused elevator mine shaft. Right, I'm worried that you've put these two quite close together, and there's not, like, a name, and I'm new to the office, I don't
It'll
really...
be fine.
You'll be okay.
Franz Reichelt, 4th of February 1912. Franz Reichelt, a tailor and inventor, leapt from the Eiffel Tower and fell to his death, wearing a parachute made from cloth, his own invention. He was asked by friends and authorities to use a dummy for the feat, but declined, saying, "I intend to prove the worth of my invention." Reichelt is sometimes known as the Flying Tailor, which is weird because he didn't fly, he fell.
Yeah, the
quite
falling tailor.
Seriously to his death.
Yeah. The idiot tailor. Alexander of Greece. King Alexander of Greece, 27, died of sepsis after being bitten by a palace steward's pet Barbary macaque in his garden while trying to break up a fight between his German shepherd and another monkey.
Haven't we all been there?
You know, guys, you don't want to get involved between a German Shepherd and a monkey. You will not come out well.
Let's go from like year 2000.
To be honest, it's been hard to beat the molten lead down the throat. I'll be honest.
It's something else.
Okay. Well, I mean, there was only one unusual death in 2000, and that was Bliss Scott. Bliss Scott, 7. Oh no!
Oh God!
Finish this. From Stirling Heights Elementary School on Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan, died after touching an African snail from which he contracted meningoencephalitis caused by... That's just fucking tragic. There's no humour there whatsoever. A child died after touching a snail, which is contrary to what most children's books will tell you. Right. So this is 2000...
I was going to say, what other stories like that do you get from people? So it was like, Montague Rathbone, aged 8, was killed by the tiger that came to tea.
Yeah.
Oscar Fleming was eaten by a very hungry caterpillar.
Little George was savaged by Clifford the big red dog, who had big red rabies. Michael Colombini, 6. Nope, not reading that one. We're told that infant mortality rates go down as as the modern era kicks in, but it seems to be the contrary. Right, here we go. Gilbert Tinzono, 38. More of an acceptable age to die. I feel.
Very acceptable age to die.
He's lived a long and illustrious life. Gilbert Tinoso, 38, died in Burbank, California, after the spare wheel from an oncoming cement truck in the opposite stretch of the freeway broke loose and struck the cab of his Toyota Tacoma. Wow. See, that scares me because I look at every time I'm crossing the road, I always think, what are the chances now that someone's going to have a heart attack behind the wheel and just mince me completely?
Yep.
And that's why I will never cross the road. It's like, how is that possible? I got my ways. Just open the sewage system and go under rather than over.
Yeah, and then you catch some terrible disease.
And I die regardless, Brittany Cecil, 13. No, not reading that. Roger Wallace, 60. Right, okay.
Yeah, go on, fuck you, Roger.
Was flying, fuck you. You had a good life. Right, Roger Wallace, 60, was flying his 5-foot wingspan toy in Tucson, Arizona, when he lost sight of it in the bright sun. It struck him in the chest, killing him.
Oh my God.
Where could it be?
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's the greatest thing I've ever... Where is it? I can't... Drunk. So beautiful. So beautiful. Still like going round.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah. It's like burrowing into his stomach. He's like, somebody stop it!
But he's so in shock. He's so in shock that his brain is still going. She's going, modern aviation, fantastic.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's cool. And it's so strong, and because he's such a pro. All right, he manages to fly his own body on. I'll see you, kid.
He wants to fly himself to the hospital. Don't worry, the battery thing on this is very strong. It's solar powered.
He's like 10 foot off the floor. It's not very high. And it's like people outside.
His feet dragging along the floor.
People outside the hospital. They're going. What's that? And he's going. I'm in serious pain. Please help me. Don't dismantle my. Don't.
And for some reason you got a guy.
Don't dismantle my aeroplane. It's taking such a lot of my time. Oh dear! Oh my God! I think it's meant to my heart.
And then you've got like an air traffic control. You've got an air traffic controller who just is able to identify him on the radar. He just goes, "This radio's the hospital." He goes, "We got a man here impaled by his own self-propelled aeroplane. Prepare the doctor." And they go, "Okay, get your scrubs ready. We know what's going on here. A second one this week." And he just flies straight into the.
He flies. He manages to land himself on the operating table. It's like thank you, sir.
And when they do the film version of it, it's like Tom Hanks in on the Hudson River. What's his name?
Oh, Sully.
It's like Tom Hanks in Sully, dramatized version. Tom Hanks going, "Don't worry, I think we can land this. We can land this thing. This thing being my own body."
His like grandchildren like running after him. It's just a trail of blood, and one of his shoes has come off.
And you got Helen Hunt going like, I hope. What was his fucking name?
Helen Hunt's playing his daughter.
Yeah, Helen Hunt's playing his daughter, and she's just going, I hope. What's his name? Roger Wallace. I just hope Roger's gonna make it to the hospital on time. Will he make it home, Daddy? Yeah, he's gonna make it home.
So his plane...
just blood like flicking over everyone that he's flying in.
His plane that he's flying, this like high-end, robotic plane with a fucking... has flown into his chest. Yeah. And it's so good and he's so skilled, he's managed to lift his own body.
Lift his own body only like 2 feet off the floor and pilot himself to the nearest hospital. I managed to land in. That's the thing.
People are seeing it and crashing at horror. They're going, what's that? What's that?
With horror and awe, people just go, oh my god, there's a man in bed. Oh, he's flying in with such dexterity. This is amazing.
It's like a Vietnam War veteran with no legs as he flies past and he goes, we salute your courage, sir.
Wow. Philip Quinn, 2004. Philip Quinn, 24, from Kent, Washington, was killed when a lava lamp he was heating on a stove exploded and a shard pierced his heart. I mean, now, I don't want to say that anyone on this... That was 2004.
That was the most naughty's way to die ever.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. A lava lamp.
The only way you could... The only way that was more naughty's than that is, well, apart from maybe falling from the Twin Towers... That would be a fairly naughty's way to die. Or just like being... if you were trying to blow up one of those see-through plastic chairs.
Yeah.
But then you get stuck down your throat. That would be a naughty's way to die.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to say that anybody deserves to die, but if you're heating a lava lamp on a stove, you probably got everything that's coming to you. Unless maybe he was a scientist,
They're making the final Wallace and Gromit film, and that's how Wallace is going to die, is by heating a lava lamp on a stove.
Yeah, when he finally has that massive breakdown.
When he realises he's
when he realises Gromit can't talk,
no,
he's not a sentient
and
dog.
he's just a plasticine virgin. It's going to be...
Wallace and Gromit and the realisation of the plasticine virgin. That's what it's going to be called. It's a sequel to Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Who's this guy? Steve Irwin. Right, let's have a look here.
No,
let's not do that. I'll read you the I think the first sentence will make you laugh a lot. Okay. Adelir Antonio De Carli, a Brazilian Catholic priest and skydiver, undertook a cluster balloon flight on the 20th of April 2008. The intention was to break the previous endurance records for ballooning and to raise funds for charity. That was the intention. However, contact was lost partway through. The lower part of his body was found floating in the sea 11 weeks later on the 4th of July. Very much his 4th of July where his legs became independent from his body. Wow. Heavens. I mean, heavens, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I think happened to him. I think his torso struck heaven.
Do you think it's because he maybe was a paedophile priest that God was like, well, your lower half's staying on Earth because it's
demonic.
Because it's demonic and it's being after boys and girls.
Yeah.
Probably
and the mind is heavenly and angelic.
Well, it's all good and holy. So his top is allowed to go. So he's now walking around heaven using bricks to get around.
He's walking on his hands.
No, using bricks. Yeah, that's what he's using it to so he doesn't have to use his hands all the time. The bricks are help.
What?
Come on, guys, we've all seen that character in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, haven't we? Why is not everyone living in my mind?
Wow. Well, we hope some of the viewers at home would have found those deaths amusing. I mean, not if you were any of the family members, you wouldn't have.
We're going to go on to one of our favourite topics now, which is the twee.
The twee.
And the tweed.
The middle class.
The
cashless. The cardless. The atomic holy fusion.
Just to preface this, there is definitely part of me which wants to
loves
say...
the way this man dresses and
No, that's the thing. I don't like people who dress all in tweed.
No, it's.
I think I don't. I've got time for a Harris tweed jacket occasionally, but not this kind of gentlemen with beards. It's the sort of person who buys a hair cream with a Victorian boxer on the front.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not fooling anyone. We know you're like you're up to your neck on antidepressants. So, like, don't pretend you're not.
But what's particularly funny about this video are the YouTube comments, which we'll go into later.
But also how much it genuinely just, like, you know when there were those cartoons about the Prophet Muhammad in Denmark, and all those Muslims went out and they were just like, they were livid.
Yeah.
This is this for us.
Yes, this is our Charlie Hebdo.
Oh God.
I mean, I think enough time has passed that we can say that now.
Yeah, I think so. That's fair enough, actually.
But this makes me want to behead the great-great-grandson of a very famous post-impressionist artist as well. So, let's watch. Right. Although what I would say is, you see that bottle of water in the corner. If that was my bottle of water around him, my thumb would be on it.
Oh yeah, this is the sort of guy, I think, who wears when he goes out for brunch on the weekends, he's wearing a T-shirt that says feminist.
Oh yeah, of course.
Or like one of those T-shirts that says, "Don't show your cock to someone unless they want us to see it," and you're like, why are you having to say that? Like,
yeah.
Very much a case of the lady doth protest too much.
Or
the bearded prick.
Yeah, and also, like, if you were to look closely enough at his beard, you think he was wearing beard oil, but it's actually just calcified jizz. Anyway, let's keep watching.
I've tried, and I've tried even more. I've cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled, and begged their hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have run dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give,
look at that.
no more fucks I've tried
Yeah.
to get. I'm over my
Too true.
budget and I'm now in fucking debt.
I'd rather hear someone sing like pro-Confederate songs with a banjo.
Yeah.
I strive to get everything done. I play by all the rules, but I very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I would have laughed, alas, to no avail. I've run round like a moron to unequivocally fail. I've no more fucks to give.
What would you do if I just brought you along to one of these?
I'd leave.
And I went, Glenn, I know, I know we do comedy, and I think this is the direction we should go in.
Yeah, I'll tell which direction I'm going in, and it's out the door and away from you. Why?
Forever.
The worst part of it is we probably get way more bookings.
We'd make careers out of this if we turned into this shite. This has got, how many views has this got? This has got,
don't. I know how many it's got. It's millions. Don't.
12 to be precise. 12 million people have watched this.
Oh my god,
So
twice as many people that were killed in the Holocaust. That
Yeah.
is, have watched this. That is mad.
And I don't know which one's the biggest tragedy.
Oh, look at Esquire. It's just that fucking... It's
Yeah.
like greeting card bullshit personality.
Yeah.
Fuck off. It's like...
It's just so conceited as well. It's so sure of its own hilarity.
Oh, God.
It's so sure of how amusing that it is. And that's all it is, though. It's not really like... I wouldn't piss myself watching this. Like, at best, it would make me go... But the funny thing about this video is, like, all the comments. Some of which are just blatant lies. So, that, again, very much reflects the kind of people who would be listening to stuff like this. The fact that this mini concert is being held at a tailor's is just adding to the pile of hilarity. If it was in a meatpacking plant, that would be quite funny.
Yeah.
Or if it was in like a working men's club and you just had all these disinterested Welsh blokes going, when's Aber tribute band coming on? Where's Aber Fabulous coming on?
Aber Fabulous.
You know what I mean? Like, watching my dad watching this, that's funny.
I'd love to see if we can book this guy and have him turn up to the middle of nowhere and just leave him.
Yeah, in like a petrol station, forecourt.
Yeah.
Just have him doing this and go, well, mate, we've paid you.
Yeah,
You've got to perform
I'm not paying him, fuck it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So here we go. Barry Flowers says, I am a casual songwriter myself, but this song is genius. and deserves to go viral. This live version sounds far better than the official version, and it has that genuine audience laughter, which makes it even funnier. It's like the reason why the hilarity enters the brainstem in the way it thus does, in that it elicits humour.
That does sound like someone...
complex compunction of verbs.
That's someone who's like in an open psychiatric prison with one of those keyboards that's like all the keys are massive because he's so simple. And just
Lasagna, me want, like dog. Milk, lasagna. Humor, funny. Banjo, banjo man, funny. I like banjo man. I love banjo man.
Fetch commode. I need commode. Fetch commode. Banjo man. Hilarity prevails. Banjo man. Fetch me commode. Banjo man. Barry needs shite. Banjo man. Beam bam bum.
I eat penny. Banjo man, funny.
Penny.
Soft foods, milk. Tweed man, good man.
Tweed man, my man. Telephone number. Telephone number. I will marry Tweed man. Tweed man. Tweed man. Tweed man. Starts to malfunction.
Tweed, 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 tweed. He's having a seizure. Give me the injection. What have I told you before? I know you're new on shift, but don't let him watch. No more fucks to give. You know how he gets. You know how he gets. Gina Burrow, very level-headed woman, says, the anthem of a generation.
Oh, you joking.
We are all simply worn out. Thank you expressing so many of our frustrations. All the best, sir.
Oh, fuck.
I am a good Christian woman, and I never swear. That said, this song lives rent-free in my head and plays on a loop every time I drop my kids off at school. What's funny about that is she hasn't got any kids. She just drives up to the school and she just goes, off you go, Penny and Alfred, pick you up tomorrow. And the people look at her and just going, oh God, her kids died like 10 years ago.
Oh
she
my
still
God.
goes to the school. She doesn't swear though, she's a good woman.
She doesn't swear though, she's a good woman.
Yeah, she still believes in the Lord after what happened to her and her family.
Because it was his plan.
It was his plan. He works in mysterious ways. That's why he kills kids for no reason.
Remember.
So this is a real comment. This is probably my favourite comment on this video.
This is a candidate for Didn't Happen to the Year Awards.
Yes, this is a bold and blatant outright lie. Played this on my last day at the office while my colleagues were laughing their asses. Just says laughing their asses. My boss was seriously listening and came to me and asked if the office really was that bad. I said, yes and no. Last I heard, they made some changes in how they handle the employees. All positive. I mean, that didn't happen. That's not how,
Things work.
Workplace evaluations go. He wouldn't have rang head office and gone, yes, please, no, can I speak to JP Morgan, please? No, JP Morgan direct. Yeah?
Yes, no.
Yes,
No, I have no more fucks to give.
No, there's no more fucks to give, please. Just put me through to head office, please. Yeah, you know what they're listening to? Have a listen to this. He just holds up the receiver like that and just, no more fucks to give. No more. Yes. Yes, I suggest the police and the army. Just about it. But anyway, so that comment, clearly bollocks. And so I wrote a comment based on the back of that one. So I said, I was playing this song on a loop during a night shift at an office job in London, thinking I was alone. At one point, I looked over my shoulder and one of the cleaners was just stood there, brow furrowed, tapping his foot. He said, wow, I'm in a dead-end job and the lyrics in this song really appeal to me, but in an uplifting way. You know, I'm going to quit this job and do something more positive in the world. And with that, he put his vacuum cleaner down, put on his coat and left. I saw him again, years later on TV. That man, ladies and gentlemen, was Nelson Mandela. So, I don't know, maybe, he may have deleted that, I don't know. I took a screenshot of it, but yeah, so I thought...
Oh, he deleted it.
Oh, yeah.
He polices his accounts.
For sure. His brand.
He's got his creepy brand.
Yes.
He's also, I reckon he's gone back through his Facebook and taken down his, really violent sexist messages about ex-girlfriends. Yeah. He's going, they're all just cunts, and all what do they do is they tease you with their pussy, and then they break your fucking heart. I mean, I'm not surprised some of them end up in a fucking hospital. That's the sort of shit that he says, with his fucking beard and his...
So, but what we don't want to do, we don't want to besmirch banjo-playing music in general, because it can be good. Yeah. So, but anyway, so now we're going to play...
Or wish you had, in my case. But anyway.
The dueling banjo scene.
Which is weird, because there was actually only one banjo in this scene. The others just an acoustic guitar. It's just known as dueling banjos, but there is only in fact one banjo. But brilliant. From a brilliant movie as well.
You kinda look like a bitch.
Got a real pretty mouth, ain't you?
Got a real pretty mouth. Looks like you ain't got no more fucks to give.
I got a fuck to give in your ass, boy.
I'm gonna give you a fuck, boy. Squeal like a piggy, boy.
Now that is a meeting of worlds I would like to see.
Well,
the rednecks from
Deliverance
going into that shop and bumming Thomas, whatever his Esquire, whatever his name is.
Esquire Jr. He gonna get fucked, boy. He gonna get fucked.
Won't play no fucks. Don't play no fucks. That's not this, boy. Gonna get fucked again, boy. God damn, I could play all day with that guy.
I believe you could, too. I believe you could.
That's good.
It's very good, sir.
God damn, you play a mean banjo.